Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Well, hello and welcome to another important podcast from your friends, your podcast pals, your audio buddies, your digital...
Dudes. Digital dudes.
Dynamos.
Absolutely not.
Digital
dynamos.
Digital dynamos is better than digital dudes.
think?
Oh, yes.
My day-to-day is writing captions and coming up with copy and that sort of thing. So
you're a
don't
real
feel
expert.
bad, Joe, that I got the better one than you there.
It takes a while for that kind of sharp
skill,
mind.
you know.
Yeah.
It's just a skill.
Your
digital daycare.
Yeah,
that's
your
good as well, Danny.
Internet
I's a hard one, mate.
that's hard, isn't it?
Internet infidels.
No, don't like that one at all. That's awful.
Your internet infidels is not how we expect you to refer to us, so don't do that.
No.
Refer to us by our full names.
I prefer digital dudes.
Digital dudes.
Never thought I'd say that.
Yeah.
Well, what a show we have for you today. There's controversy, legal worries. I break out in a sweat at one point.
That was all the same. That
was all the same bit.
That's all the same bit.
I can't get past it. Yeah, can't get. But I think I got away with it. It's all fine.
It's fine.
I don't think the listeners would even know what bit you're talking about.
This could be. Look. This could be our last show, but that's the same. That's the same for every week. You don't know. You never know when's your last show.
So you never know, do you?
So what I'm saying is, I don't think it will be.
Yeah,
I think technically, in your contract, Danny, Global has the right to terminate it at any point, despite it being a year contract.
That's what they say. But
there's no notice period on that.
But trust me. The talking to I would give those guys.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's not worth their time.
Do you think you'd write a letter?
It's better that they just let me crack on than they have to listen to my... Because I start with the history of broadcasting.
Yeah.
I talk them through how the first contracts were developed. And that goes right back to ancient Greece.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So there's a lot to talk about there before we can even... Because I go through the contract word by word, discovering the etymology and meaning of every single word.
Yeah, look.
And I adhere and I link every word in every contract back to some historical context.
Do you think Greek?
Because otherwise I don't know if they get it.
The only reason we're still on air is just because of how laborious the process of terminating that contract is. Yeah,
they've tried so many times. They never get past the 15th century.
What's it called? Filibustering. You just filibuster in your termination meeting.
Yeah, I see them when I'm going through the Middle Ages, for example.
They're like,
and the concept of trading, as in trading goods for services. Services in this case being the service I provide, the monetary value of which, and then you have to go into the economy.
Yeah,
they start to go. They get confused during the Middle Ages.
They do.
The middle management just start to filter out at that stage, don't they?
Yeah,
And
they all get up.
Starting to disperse. The lawyers are losing interest.
All the lawyers lose interest. Do you know the furthest Global have ever sat through?
Where have they got to?
1453.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean...
The time, not the year. That was 6 hours.
And then they're like, right, get out. Well, should we crack on with this show then?
Let's do it.
Radio X.
It is your important broadcast with me, D-Dub, the Big D, Beyonce. Let's begin.
Radio X.
So I'm rebranding myself as Beyonce.
Beyonce, I love it.
Would you like to use it?
Yeah, can I be Beyonce as well?
No, it doesn't really work with your name, does it? It's like D for Danny. Did you not get that?
Yeah, no, I can't use it, can I? Maybe I could be Steonce though.
You could be Steonce, I could be Beyonce. What would Joe be?
Joe would be Joe.
Doesn't work.
I
found out something interesting just before about Joe, which is that his surname, an unusual one, Attiwell. Remember, it took him about 4 months to correct us because we were calling him Atwell.
I think it was longer than that.
It was a lot longer than that. And Attiwell, where does it come from?
Well, my grandfather had one of those, he had in a frame there was like one of those. There's no proof that this was the case, but it was like an explanation of where your name comes from and what it means. And what this piece of art claimed was that our name Attiwell derives from the well-dwelling folk who lived at the
Well, yeah.
So
At
you
the
come
well.
from a lineage of well dwellers.
Yes, those too lazy to walk to the well would live next to
just
it
sit
out
next
of
to it.
convenience.
That's lovely. So the well-dwelling folk, I didn't realise they sound sort of magical.
Yeah.
And it's the solstice tomorrow, so all the well-dwellers will come out, won't they?
Yeah, of course. I think the well is open to all on the solstice, whereas what the well-dwelling folk would usually do is charge them to
They would charge
access it.
them, yeah, that's what they would do. It was a good business plan. The other thing about Joe is, guess where I found Joe this morning, Steve?
I don't know, in the office?
No, and I find this concerning.
Oh, dear.
It was a Sunday morning at 9:15, and I found Joe loitering outside the Brewmaster pub,
It's not loitering.
which is a pub that opens very early.
Yeah.
And to sort of find you there,
Yeah.
just hanging about
Yeah.
outside the Brewmaster,
You do normally...
9:15 on a Sunday morning.
yeah, you do normally go for a pint before the show to
No,
calm your nerves, don't
absolutely
you?
do not do that. Can I also
You know what we should
defend
call you?
myself?
You know what we should call you? We should call you Joe Pubbywell. Part of the pub dwelling folk.
No, listen. The Brewmaster pub, as both of you know, is directly next to the exit for Leicester Square tube station,
Sure, but
which
why
I
are you
was
hanging
exiting
around?
at
Why are
the
you
time.
hanging around?
I wasn't hanging around. I exited
around.
the tube station. I almost literally bumped into you on my way to get my breakfast.
You've been loitering around.
At Pret,
outside.
not at the Brewmaster, I hasten to add.
He called me yesterday, actually.
What?
And he never ever calls me.
No.
And so I call him all the time. Probably like once a week I call him. But he never ever calls me. And it was about...
Usually at the well.
And then he was like, hello, Steve. And I was like, I was out for lunch. I couldn't really hear him. He's like, I just I want to talk to you about something. And I thought something bad had happened. Yeah.
Oh, what was it?
So I was like, I thought something was happening to you or something. And he was like, just want to know if you're around for a pint. And I was like, why have you made this so like terrifying for me?
Yeah. And what is this new obsession with beer?
No, it's not that. I look. I was at a loose end yesterday afternoon, and I'd called some people, and I'd arranged to meet them to like later on, and then
Sure.
and then I. And
It sounds like Steve was somewhere down the queue.
I was at a
doesn't it?
loose end. It is. I'm trying to make it sound less awkward.
What
but
I'm
Steve,
thinking is-
Steve was. I was basically trying to fit him around some other socialising I was doing, and
Yeah.
I had a couple of hours, and I thought, well, I could see Steve.
So you're a fit-arounder.
Fit around it, yeah.
Oh, dear.
And what I reckon was, because I didn't meet him for a pint yesterday,
Yeah.
he was so thirsty. He was going to get one this morning.
Yeah, he turned into, like the way the Incredible Hulk turns into the Hulk. When rebuffed, Joe turns into Joe Pubbywell. Seems to be what's happening. Well, good. I just want to say very briefly, I did a little sort of Skype, like a Zoom type thing with Joe, and I caught him in his natural environs in the small village of Western Zoyland.
Oh, really?
And I saw him at his kitchen table where he grew up,
Wow.
and just outside, just surrounded by hay bales. That's
it really?
exactly what you'd think.
Not around my kitchen table. The hay bales are not directly next to my.
And might as well
my-
be. They're
my
right outside your
table.
window.
Yeah, they're. Yeah.
I loved it. It's exactly what I wanted from a call with Joe Joe Pubbywell. It is Father's Day today. I hope all your fathers are doing well, and I hope your fathers are doing well. And if you're without a father, I hope you're okay. It's a weird one for me this year, but we'll all get through it together, and we'll do it through the use of carefully selected, playlisted music like this. Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. We're on our way now.
Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Me, Danny Wallace, him, Steve Ferdinando, and of course Joe Pubbywell. So Steve, listener 005 has been in touch just to say Steve has a deep voice but still sounds like a child. Can you explain that, please?
Like what? How can I explain that?
Well, how can you explain that, with this deep voice of yours, this manly voice, you still sound a little bit like a child?
Well, obviously, before you come on the radio,
Take the lollipop out your mouth. Sit up.
you have to do your radio auditions, don't
course,
you? Where
yes.
they test out your voices.
Yeah.
And so I just happen to have a great radio voice, but the spirit.
Sorry, who said that?
No one's ever said that.
Like, I have a great radio voice.
Do you?
Has anyone said that?
But the spirit of a young man.
You do. He does have an irresistible innocence about him.
Oh, he certainly
I
does.
do, yeah, I really do. I bank on that a lot,
You do. And it must come in handy when putting people at ease. For example, when making small talk,
Yeah.
because they'll hear you talk and the things you say, and they'll feel superior, won't they?
Yeah, they feel.
And so it makes them feel more comfortable in themselves.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I talk a lot.
Exactly. And never is that more important than the day before the solstice, because you know all the solstice small talk you have to do.
Oh my God, yeah. It's
Everyone wants to know what you're doing for the solstice.
You never know what to say.
You never know quite what to say, so you just say something in return. You know, and that will be happening because apparently it is the solstice tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it somehow. I always thought it was just the longest day, but it says on the internet that it starts tomorrow and ends on Wednesday. So,
Wow, yeah, it's a long
explain
day.
that
Yeah,
more,
very
like.
long. And obviously, you'll be going about your business today. You may see people you vaguely know on the street at a distance, and they'll be sort of going, you know, you're set for the solstice tomorrow. And what will you say? So, Joe, hello there. How
Hello,
are you?
mate.
You're
You
set
all right?
for the solstice tomorrow, are you?
Yeah, of course. Well,
Yeah.
by the time I've done my several hours of chanting in the garden, the day will be all mine.
Oh, yeah, of course it will, absolutely.
See you later.
Oh, hey, Steve, you all right?
Hey, Danny,
you're
how you
set
doing?
for the solstice tomorrow, are
Yeah,
you?
you know what? I'm going to do what I do every solstice,
that?
which is harvest my maize.
Oh,
You know, I've got my
lovely.
big maize field. I like to harvest it on the solstice.
Enjoy.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Danny, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. What are you doing for the solstice tomorrow?
Oh, well, I'll be taking the goats to the heath, of course. Dragging my sacrificial stone in my little shopping trolley behind me. Then I'll whip out the giant sword of St. Stobart and just crack on. You know, it's messy but fun. So what about you? 83936. Let us know. What are you doing? What are you doing for the solstice tomorrow? Are you all set? Are you set for the solstice? Solstice? 83936. We'll do that after this.
Radio X. Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Me, Danny Wallace, him, Steve Ferdinando, and the man I've been calling Joe Pubbywell, but which you've all pointed out should be Joe Attipub.
At the pub, yeah.
Just
Whichever
works much
way
better.
makes you feel better.
Pubbywell's better. Sorry, listeners, but
Yeah,
Pubbywell just rolls
You
off the
think?
tongue better. Yeah,
It's got a better rhythm to it, I believe, even though it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense, but it's all about the rhythm, you
Isn't
know?
it just?
Yeah.
Anything where my name isn't going to be put next to the word average, I'm happy with.
Okay. Non-average Joe. Hit the unusual bed. Now, this Druid chant, we can see from our systems here, was last played on Radio X in 2015.
Wow, I wonder what it was used for.
Has it been for 6 years? Why has no one used it?
I think Johnny Vaughan was talking about druids at some point in 2015.
Must have been. And of course now, with the solstice, it couldn't be more relevant. Because there'll be a lot of small talk going around today. A lot of people saying to you, all right, you all set for the solstice? And of course you are. Although Sai has a bit of a cynical take. He goes, it's just another day for silly hippies, isn't it?
Oh,
What do you like?
Classic Si.
Come
They
on.
get so many days, don't they? I don't like this bed.
You know,
No, and I
what don't you like
I don't
about
like it either.
I find it very unsettling.
What don't you like about it? Why?
It's not
Why?
exactly high energy or cheerful, is it?
No, it's not.
Let's
No,
get
not
rid of the
at all.
druids and let's bring back the gallery music, please. So, how's the solstice? You all set? There you go. Well, Tim says, I'll tell you what, I am prepared, yeah. A full 18 hours of chanting in my stone circle.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Don't let your neighbours catch you, Tim. Hey, Danny, I'm very well, says James from Farnborough. I'll probably just go for a few drinks with Joe Pubbywell. He's guaranteed to be propping up the bar somewhere.
Oh,
Getting a real reputation.
Yeah.
Joe from Cloudy Leicester says, I'm looking forward to the solstice. Yeah, I'll be laughing at Morris dancers, shooting hares, and lighting bonfires to annoy my neighbours with washing on the line, and having the safety dance on repeat.
yes,
Good, I'm pleased.
absolutely. See you later, mate.
Richard in Liverpool says the solstice is fake. It's a con. The sun is an illusion. It's a hoax.
Sun's a
All right, Richard, how's lockdown been? You all right? See you soon. Bye-bye.
Been
all right, Richard?
Move,
Okay.
move, get away from him. Craig in West Lothian says, all set for the solstice here. Got my flip-flops and bowler hat ready, and I'm raring to go. Bring on the xylophones.
Lovely.
I guess
See
they
ya.
celebrate differently up there.
Yeah, they do.
Phil in Bramley says, all set for the solstice tomorrow. Am I ever? My druid uniform is fresh from the dry cleaners who got some, stubborn stains out of it after last year. Anyway, mustache. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
All right.
mate.
Nathan from Cadley says, morning, Daddy. I'm all set for the solstice. I've been practicing my druid chants all week. Well, Nathan, don't, because it's very depressing.
Yeah, don't.
If
We were just
anything-
listening to it.
Yeah, if anything, do what Craig in West Lothian does and get out your xylophone and play a happy bed like this.
A little ditty.
Just some little ditty. Well, I'm pleased you're all going to be celebrating the solstice. It's just a thing we do in Britain, isn't it?
Yeah,
all of
we
us?
love it.
We can't get enough of it, I find.
That's great. The solstice is great.
You've just built a new sundial, haven't you?
Yeah, you know that.
They're really hard to make.
And I was worried because I thought it wasn't going to be ready in time.
Yeah, but luckily...
But luckily I knuckled down yesterday.
Yeah.
Got it finished. got a bit of
Did you go Wicks or did you go B&Q this year?
I just went out into, there's like an old like scrapyard.
And you just picked up a bit of wood.
Picked up some wood.
Put it in the ground.
Bang, bang, bang. You don't pay for wood, mate.
No.
There's wood everywhere.
Not on the solstice. Well, thank you very much indeed. Just look at your sundial. I'm not sure it's working properly. What time is it now?
It's just gone 11:30.
No, you're looking at the clock. I'm talking about your sundial says it's 3:15.
Well, yeah. You know what? I think maybe I've got it wrong.
Yeah, pay for wood in the future. Here's the Smiths. Big Mouth strikes again on Radio X. Please enjoy it in silence.
Danny Wallace.
The important broadcast.
Radio X.
The Smiths. Big Mouth strikes again. Tim's been in touch. Find whoever added the Smiths to the Radio X playlist and give them a big hug from me.
Oh, well, it would have been on the playlist for years. Like, I don't know if we could even go back that far.
Well, who would it have been? What we're talking about?
It might be someone called Jim Benner, who works for War Child now, but he left. Oh, honestly,
You're talking the mid-90s that would have happened, didn't it?
Jim, he would have left. Oh, maybe 10 years ago. Like,
yeah. Well, we'll try, Tim. Can you find a contact for Jim Benner?
Yeah, no, I know Jim Benner.
Well, have you got his number?
Yeah, shall I give him a call?
Send him I'm not hugging anyone.
No, we won't hug him, but maybe we
Still
can.
not very
We can
comfortable.
pass Tim's regards on at least.
We'll pass the regards on. But again, I'm not even sure it was
It
Jim.
might not have been Jim Benner.
Because it might have. But I'm
been
pretty
Mike
sure
Walsh.
he was there at the start. It could have been Mike.
Could have been
but
Mike.
Again, Tim, it's really hard to find that.
It's a big ask, Tim, and I actually resent it because I've got enough to do without tracking down former members of staff in order to
To thank them for putting.
It specifically says hug, which is sort of a physical thing.
Yeah,
as well.
we're not going to go to where, I don't even know where Jim lives.
Well, War Child's based in London, isn't it? So he's likely to be there or thereabouts. Maybe
Yeah,
Kent.
but I think he was working with the American wing of it a bit, though. So he might be in
no.
the States. I can't go to America.
And even if you're going to do it quickly today, like there are line
I haven't got
closures
time.
on the tube, like you're going to run inside.
Yeah.
There's going to be a replacement bus somewhere along there.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've driven in, so I theoretically.
Well,
I could-
that's helpful.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily going to want you just turning up at his house to.
Well, Steve would have to warn him, obviously, and say that I'm going to come.
Oh, Danny's
round
on the way. He'll be there.
And-
He'll be there in 5 minutes.
I don't know what your vaccine situation is, but he is going to hug you.
He's going to hug you,
Yeah.
obviously, as long as that's okay, but it is a request from a listener.
Yeah, sure. Well, Tim, I'll try my best, but absolutely no promises.
This is Radio Danny Wallace.
We do so much for you, honestly. I mean, we track down former members of staff. We get you warmed up and ready and prepared for society with your small talk. And now we're only going to go and educate you.
Radio X.
Tell me something I don't know.
Because, it's Father's Day and, you're expected to maybe cook a little something for Father.
I'm not.
You're not, are you?
Not at my household, no.
No.
I've been working. I'm going to rock up at my sister's later.
Yeah.
So that the listeners don't care about this. But
Also, you told me earlier you'd forgotten it was Father's Day.
yeah, but I'm just going to my sister's and I was like, oh, we're going for Father's Day.
I see. How will Malcolm feel about that?
He won't care.
Well, if there's an awkward moment, you know what you do?
What?
You tell him a fact.
yeah.
That's how you bond, isn't it? That's how you bond. So, Joe, what's your first of 2 facts?
You know the abbreviation OMG.
I do. Yes, I do.
What does it mean?
Oh my God.
Oh, my God.
Oh my God, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. The first use of that abbreviation was in a letter from John Fisher to Winston Churchill in 1917.
Wow.
That's a good fact.
I did know it had been used in an old letter, but I did not know it was to Winston Churchill. He
you think
must
I
have
get
been
points?
shocked. Of course you do, Joe.
It's 2 points for me then.
2. Have the full 2.
Thank you.
Steve, your first of 2 facts.
Well, just imagine like one of it's Father's Day and I'm now
Yeah.
telling you this
Oh,
and in an
lovely.
awkward moment round the table.
Yes.
Right, yeah.
Oh, when you look at the
Did you
sky-
remember it was Father's Day?
Yeah, no, of course I did. That's why I got you that wine.
Right.
Anyway,
From a garage.
yeah, it's still wine, Dad. Jesus.
Gonna have a nice afternoon.
Can we just leave it? You know when you look at the sky and you see like little white dots sometimes in your eyes.
Your own eyes, yeah.
Stars, they're
things.
called stars. No.
That's white blood cells. So you're looking at your own blood.
Well, I think that's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice. You don't normally when you see your own blood, it's something
horrific.
terrible's happened.
Yeah, but this is the one time where it's absolutely fine.
But surely they're too small for you to see.
Look, Joe,
Let's swim
I've just
about.
read one line of a fact. There's no
Sure, no.
further research.
And that goes for his whole
Can't go
life.
deeper into it, yeah.
I've read one line of a fact. Frankenstein's monster, a.k.a. the creature?
Yes, written by Shelley.
That's right, Mary Shelley.
Mary Shelley.
Now, we all have a bit of a bad opinion of that creature, don't we? Because it's very angry and all this kind of stuff. And we're a bit worried, and we call it a monster.
Grotesque.
People chased him with pitchforks and flaming things, probably like in Weston's Island, I imagine.
No.
If a stranger
they would
arrives.
have.
Well, did you know that the creature is a vegetarian?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Well, it's absolutely true. He says, my food is not that of man. I do not destroy the lamb and the kid to glut my appetite. Acorns and berries afford me sufficient nourishment.
He's
a bit preachy, isn't he?
That's the whole point
Yeah.
of it, though, isn't it? That he's actually nice, but everyone thinks he's scary.
Yeah, why are we so afraid of him? He's just a gentle vegetarian.
Yeah.
Although he's very quick to point out he's vegetarian.
Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it?
Is annoying. Even Frankenstein's monster couldn't wait 5 minutes. Joe.
You know cornflakes.
Oh, I love them.
Do you?
Yeah, there's nothing better than a freshly opened pack of cornflakes, some very cold nice milk, not the skimmed one.
Yeah, but that's your opinion, of course.
No, I don't
lot of
wish
sugar
to.
in-
Yeah, no, you're right to point out. It's just my opinion. I
Yeah.
don't wish to force my views on anyone.
It's, in 2008, a cornflake that was in the shape of the state of Illinois sold on eBay for $1,350.
Wow,
Money well spent.
money well spent.
Yeah. So look out for that.
I've been trying to find a cornflake in the shape of Billericay for years.
Yeah, any luck?
Nah, still no luck.
Look in, mate.
Maybe if you do, you could finally win Billericay Citizen of the Year.
Oh, not just a nomination.
What's your second fact?
You know when you're watching football,
Lots
and
of football on at the moment.
the pitch is like different colours, the grass.
Yes,
Right.
because it's been mowed a different way.
That's
Go on.
it, yeah.
How is that your fact?
It's like pushing suede.
Did you think? What did you think was happening?
I was watching the football yesterday and I was like, why is it different colours? I was like, I never understood that.
Do you
I was
think
like,
they planted it in lines?
I always
different
thought it was
grass?
different levels, like shaving, different levels of mode.
Different levels of grass. So long bits and short bits.
So the ball wouldn't pass freely through the grass. It would go a little bit quicker and then
It was
a little bit
faster
slower
on the
and then
light green bits.
You-
No, that's not the case at all.
Oh, well, yeah, there's a fact. A lot of listeners won't have known that.
Oh, they all
no, they
have
will.
known that.
That's one of those facts where literally everyone knows.
Everyone knows that. Bees.
Yeah.
Love them, right?
Yeah, nice,
Honey.
Yeah.
Did you know that there's something very special about them? You might see them buzzing around, perhaps in a garden or a high street.
Yeah.
And they're always at sort of eye level, aren't they? Because that's where you're looking at them. Or maybe a little lower. Not very much higher.
No, yeah.
Right.
Bees can fly higher than Mount Everest.
Whoa.
That's right. Bees can fly higher than 29,520 feet above sea level. That's higher than Mount Everest, the tallest of all the mountains we enjoy.
Surely they rarely have need to do that.
Well, it's another reason I'm not going up Mount Everest. I get
Bees up
invited-
there.
Yeah, there's bees. And they do it as a challenge. Imagine going all that way and
get
you're just
stung.
surrounded by bees. No, thank you. No way. I don't care what charity gets in touch. I'm avoiding those
Absolutely not.
bees. No way. Here's Lenny Kravitz. Are You Gonna Go My Way on Radio X.
Radio X.
Danny Wallace.
The important broadcast.
Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Go My Way? It was a great moment there when we were listening to Lenny Kravitz, and Steve just sort of shook his head and he just went, he's a geezer, isn't he, Lenny?
I can't disagree. He
No.
absolutely is.
He's a
Can't-
geezer.
He's a geezer.
The listeners just text in saying, I feel sorry for Joe having to work with Steve.
Yes, that's James and Paul.
They obviously don't feel sorry for you, though.
Well, no, it says, Danny, I'm embarrassed for Steve. And then he says, I feel sorry for you and Joe.
Oh,
So
right, yeah.
what you have to do is just read the words and just understand them.
Well, he was insulting me, so I'm not going to read the whole thing properly, am I?
You just read every fifth word and get the gist.
Skim it. I only skim read insults.
That's what they do on LBC when they ask for texts.
Yeah.
They just
Every
give
fifth
a
word's fine.
general
That's
sort
fine.
of
Just-
idea.
That must be, yes, but it's only for a couple of hours on a Sunday, James. Imagine spending a week with Stephen. So
Yeah.
this week, for example.
I went out with, I saw my friend Heidi on Monday, yeah.
Yes.
And she was going to me. She just moved flat, right? And she's going, "Oh, I'm going to buy a plant. I found this plant called a Steve plant. Maybe I should buy that." That's a
Yeah.
funny thing, right? And then a few days later, I was with my friend Jenny, and she was like talking about plants because everyone wants to buy plants at the moment. She was like, "Oh, I'm thinking of buying a. You might like this actually. I'm thinking of buying a plant." And I was like, "You gonna buy a Steve plant?" And then she was like, "What?"
Talking about.
It's like, think how like egomaniacal I must have looked to be like, I've invented a plant.
And that everyone knows what a Steve plant is, and that every house should have one.
She's like,
You do have a habit of doing it as well because you did it with toast. You
30 toast. No, that's because I invented a type of breakfast.
Well, it's peanut butter with banana.
Yeah, but I invented it.
Well, yes, but I imagine other people have done it in the past.
No one had ever gone to me before. You should try this. I was in my kitchen going.
You didn't know why mowed grass looks slightly different the different way you do it.
I was like, I'm going to put peanut butter, and I was like, what happens if I put a bit of banana on? Boom, 30 toast was born.
Wow, you should have like a Discovery Channel cook show that no one watches.
In fairness to Jenny, she probably thought that's what you'd done with a plant, like you painted it silver.
This is the thing. Yes,
Plant.
I was like, she must just be like, what do you think? Why would I buy a plant called Steve?
Well, why wouldn't you? That's the question. I'm going to go straight out and buy 10.
Buy 10 Stevie plants.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to populate an entire room with them. It's going to be the Steve room.
That'd be nice.
And it'll smell of peanut butter and sweat.
Radio X. Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Danny, do you have any emails that I could maybe have one before?
Oh, God, not on me.
Okay, it's not a problem.
No, I can get you one.
Yeah, I mean, no, if you haven't got one,
they're a lot more expensive than they used to be, Steve. You shouldn't ask people for them, really.
Well,
it's a bit of an imposition.
No, I don't mind.
You sure?
I haven't. I literally.
Oh, are you out?
I think I gave you the last one.
He keeps them in the car. That's the trouble.
Yeah, I keep it on. Have you got one, Joe?
I have got one.
There's an email poking out.
I was going to have it.
No, I'll have it. Hi, Danny. I'm not the most committed listener.
Only in this
Why
show.
would you give me this?
Why?
No, just read on, for heaven's sake.
I don't even know my listener number.
God's sake, you can't get vaccinated without it.
It must be a good one, as I used to go back to the... I'm not allowed to say the name of the old station, am I? There's like some edict.
No, but if you say it, I can beep it out. That's fine.
Why would we beep out the former identity of the same...
That's fine. That's
in the same studio.
Why don't you say it now, and then we'll listen back, and then Joe can make the call later, and then we'll see if he bleeps it out.
I'd prefer it if you didn't bleep it out, but echoed it to give an element of the past.
Yeah, there will be an effect over it that will make it largely. You have no idea what he said. So if you don't know what it was called, then you won't know.
It's very weird, isn't it?
I think it's it confuses. The reason is it's going to confuse brand messaging.
People can't imagine something else.
So it's about awareness, Danny. So you want to solidify one brand name. You don't want to keep harking back to.
All right, watch this. It must be a good one, as I used to go back to what Radio X used to be called.
Yeah.
With a prepubescent Steve. Yes, he's still fairly prepubescent.
I wasn't prepubescent. I was like 21.
Look, we all develop at different rates.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
And that's fine.
But I've had a rough start to the year, like many, and you, Joe, and the Billericay Nitwit have got me through some sleepless nights. Oh. So thank you. Feel free to dedicate a podcast to me if you want to. You don't have to, but it would be nice. Cheers. Hannah Bakes.
Oh, Hannah, of course you can have a podcast.
Of course you can have two.
You'll have next week as well.
Have a plate of podcasts.
I tell you what, as well, Hannah, I'm going to give you podcasts 25 to 57.
It's very generous of you.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so she can have all of them. They're in the bag.
It's a lot of work for Joe to go back and edit Hannah Bakes' name into...
I also feel like Hannah probably didn't want that many.
She's not that committed.
She's asked for one.
She's not that committed.
You've just given her...
She's stuck with them now. I don't want them.
You've just filled
I've got all these podcasts I need to get rid of.
Why do you wear them all? You've got the sort of like an ammunition belt around you, like Rambo.
All of the undedicated ones.
Each bullet is an audio bullet of a podcast.
Well, I got them out of storage, thinking when we started doing the dedications, thinking, I'll shift these in no time. Do you know what I mean?
We never said we were going to retrospectively, because like you say, that's a lot of work for me to retrospectively dedicate podcasts.
If you lose them, I'm going to be furious.
Well, I'm not going to lose them. Jesus,
well, you're carrying them round.
Well, the whole point was I was going to shift them, but
shift them where?
Onto the listeners, but the uptake's not as much as I thought it would be.
Oh,
so I'm taking them everywhere at the moment.
Well, Hannah, you can have them 25 to 57. Hannah Bakes era. This weekend next.
Sorry, no, Hannah, can you just know that those of you, I am not going to go back.
No, you have to.
Into the podcast blurbs that they're dedicated. I'm not going to do it because that's a lot of work.
Hannah, I'm sorry you've not had a good time recently, and we all hope you are very, very well indeed. And we'll be there Hopefully not through some more sleepless nights.
No.
We'll get Steve to tell a few stories, and then you can sleep like a baby.
Yeah.
I did worry if you're having sleepless nights and we're there, do try getting rid of us because
Maybe we're contributing.
It could be that the two don't mix.
No, they don't gel.
You know what? When I can't sleep,
Yes.
I listen.
Go on.
I listen to something called Rainy Day Antiques, which is a sleep cast of a man just describing an old antique shop.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I listen to. So, Hannah,
give me an example. What would?
So it'll be like this guy's like, "Hello, come in to the antique shop. Oh, it's nice and warm in here. Look, here's an old grandfather clock." It's all that sort of stuff.
Well, he's trying to flog you stuff.
And it's ticking, and it lulls you to sleep.
There's like a bit of rain sound in the background, and he's just like describing.
So
things.
he's got the shop's got no roof.
No, it's a rain
Against the window, I
That's
suppose.
quite stressful to see a lot of antiques being rained on.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I was in
They'd
bed.
perish, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
It was raining the other day, and I was like listening to rain. I was like, this is exactly the same like pressure of rain as in Rainy Day Antiques.
Oh, how nice. I'm not sure that would send me to sleep, Steve.
You listen to LBC at night.
The idea of walking into an antique shop, meeting a stranger.
No, he's very nice. Because I've listened to it a few times now.
Sort of do you hear the door lock behind you?
Yeah. He's not too pushy as a salesman. Is he?
Yeah, he's like, so, and I was like, look, man, I'm just browsing. And he's like, oh, actually, if you get this now, because we had some blokes looking at this earlier, so I'd buy it now if you want it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, look, I'm just
high pressure antique sales.
sheltering from the rain.
Awful.
No, I mean, I've listened to this a few times now, so he's like an old friend. They recently released a sequel, so I look forward to.
As do we all. Well, there you are, Hannah Bakes. There's a little tip for you. You can listen to a man describing antiques in the rain.
Danny Wallace.
This is radio.
Steve, Tim has been back in touch, just saying maybe we could have a comedy roast for Steve next week, which
Absolutely
I think is a terrific idea.
No,
it'd be brilliant. People could gently mock you, but it's all in the spirit of
Bit of
fun.
ribbing.
I've
Bit of
watched
gentle
those
ribbing.
comedy roasts on, Comedy Central or something, and I was like, I don't understand why anyone would ever put themselves in that position. I'd just be weeping the whole time.
Well, here's
I'd be
the
like,
thing.
shut up.
Why don't we test that?
Steve, you wouldn't be putting yourself in this position. I would be putting you in this position.
I don't want to do it.
So
Test it.
next week, maybe
Yeah.
we'll try that.
I've already
And-
written it down.
Have you?
Yeah.
Great. If you'd like to roast Steve, why not drop me an email? Danny at radiox.co.uk. Danny at radiox.co.uk. Maybe we could even phone a few people and get them to do it live.
Yeah,
or
we can have some live roasting.
pre-recorded. That'd be great.
Sunday roast.
And we could extend it to maybe 15 minutes.
Can I say
Yeah.
that I will not take this with good humour?
Danny at radiox.co.uk.
Yeah, let's see. Let's test it.
Let's have some music. This is a recurring track on our playlist, so this will be quite a soft sell. Is Arctic Monkeys' Teddy Pickup.
Radio X. Danny Wallace.
The important broadcast.
Radio X.
A little bit later on, we'll be playing Dinner Winner. It's me versus Steve, and we'll tell you everything we had for dinner. Joe will judge. I guess you're judging on... You have a very strange way of judging. Sometimes it's like good use of an egg.
Yeah.
Look, there's what people will know is that in Dinner Winner, a lot of it comes down to gut feeling.
Yes.
You're under pressure. You've got to make a decision, so you've got to listen to your
Your gut.
heart rather than your head and your gut.
And your gut as well.
Yeah.
Well,
See, I like to judge based on data.
yes, you do. And I am waiting for some data from you at the moment, Steve. Not
Yeah.
on Dinner Winner, but I'm just wondering when you're going to file your report that I asked you to do.
What, a report? Or,
Remember
what
I asked you to do a specific thing last week?
did you? What did you ask me to do?
Well, are you saying that you haven't prepared a report?
Yeah. I haven't
Sorry,
done
is
it.
this one of those times where I should have a clip of you saying it from last week and we should
What was I
drop it
asking
in?
you?
Well, my word is truth. Remember, this is not just Father's Day, it's the Father's Day.
Sorry,
Day of
of
the
course.
Father.
This is the day where the listener gets to thank me.
recognise you, yeah.
Exactly, and thousands of texts have come in just thanking me. But I won't read them out. I refuse to.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the report I asked you to prepare. Some of the listeners were going to meet up last week. In fact, they did meet up. They asked my permission if they could go on Zoom and have like a listening party where they would get to know each other. And I said no. I said, you can't do that. I will allow the meeting to take place, however, under certain circumstances and under my rule, under my eye, if you like.
Yeah.
And I said to them, you can meet up for 5 minutes only. you can meet up on Zoom, but you must meet up in complete silence.
Yeah.
No one must speak, and there must be no laughter, very much reflecting the show.
Yeah.
And after 5 minutes, you must all log off immediately,
Yeah.
and the last person to log off will be exiled. And I asked you to infiltrate the group.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to be honest. I didn't do that.
I knew that would
Right.
happen. I
But-
absolutely knew that.
Because
would
that's
happen.
the only meeting I've ever sanctioned or approved. And
Yeah. But I mean, what I did
you should
do
have been there.
was I did check because I forgot, but I did check the Facebook group.
Yeah.
And it looks like it all went ahead.
Great. It's just
And,
that you didn't witness it.
I think
And,
I think that's your report you asked for. Just got delivered there. That was
It went ahead.
It looks like it all went ahead.
Some of the people commenting saying that they did do it all in silence. I think there might have been some laughing.
No.
I think there might have been some laughing.
That's why I asked you to be there, to crush that.
Yeah, but you
the
know
way
what I
you crushed
thought?
the laughter on the show.
But the demigod doesn't go to the first union meeting.
You're a
do you know?
demigod now. You're a demigod.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
I would not do that, Steve.
That they don't. The dictator doesn't go to the union meetings. Do you know what I mean?
You're not a dictator either.
Yeah, I sort of am though, in a kind of way. I do your dirty work, don't I?
I suppose so, yeah. I think of it, I'm like Gozer. And you two are my, like, terror dogs.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
You know, from Ghostbusters.
And then we just go in and we do the
You're
dirty
very
work.
much the terror dog that was Rick Moranis. And Joe, you're very much my Sigourney Weaver.
I don't mind it at all. Not one bit do I mind that.
I'm buttering him up because he's judging Dinner Winner, and we'll do that after a bit of this. Here is Blur, Girls and Boys. I love this. Oh, this just reminds me of driving around in my midnight blue Mini Metro City X up and down the hills of Bath and just trying to get the lyrics right.
Really?
Yeah, very
Did you ever
rarely.
imagine that you'd perform it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you?
What are you talking about? In fact, why don't I do that now? Hand me that microphone.
Okay.
And let's have 3 minutes 38 of me singing Blur, Girls and Boys. Streets
Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Soon we'll be playing Dinner Winner, and I don't know if it was the heat this week, the glorious yet oppressive heat that we had, but I encountered a lot of hostility amongst the civilian population while on my amblings,
Oh, really?
particularly in and around food.
Really? Well, in your little village?
It's not a village.
In my head.
Think anything outside London is a village, and that is the problem with the mainstream liberal London media elite, of which you're the only one at the moment because Joe's in Somerset.
Oh, dear. Yeah, I just imagine you live in like a little hamlet. There's like a baker's and a
Yeah.
postman.
Yeah, we've got a
And-
postman.
How does your post get delivered? By robot?
Postman.
Very local things.
Yeah, we've got a postman, but then when I lived in London for 20 years, I'm pretty sure we had a postman.
Oh, I don't get post anymore, you know. I just I do it all by email now.
Do you?
If I get a letter, I'm not reading that. If you ever want to get in touch with me, don't mail.
So don't do it by text because you'll only get the gist of it, and certainly don't send a letter.
The text, I'm barely reading it anyway. Like I'm skimming that for sure.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm just not even opening the message. I'm just leaving that buried in my WhatsApp.
You work in social media.
This is it. I've got too many other things to think about.
A lot of balls in the air. Well, I'll give my regards to all my friends back in my village, the candlestick maker, the boot maker, all the tinkers that we've got.
Yeah.
I always walk past and they're always in their window just hammering little nails into hob boots that we use when we walk around the village.
Well, you joke, but you have got a milkman.
I did have a milkman, Alan.
Yeah.
He's no longer employed by me.
Oh no.
I don't want to get into it. Let's just use the word curdle and we'll leave it at that.
Radio X. Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Steve, can I interest you in an electronic mail? I know you prefer snail mail.
I don't know, how big is it?
About a quarter.
Yeah, go on then.
Craig and Berry says, sorry, I switched on a bit late. Unforgivable and death, I know. It's just nice, just acceptance.
Yeah.
But is there any more update on Steve's suggestion on the podcast last week to nuke Cuba? Now, when I read that, I suddenly thought, I don't remember.
I didn't.
I was
an
quite
English.
worried.
Did I say that?
I was quite worried he'd said something where I should have filled out quite a lot of paperwork.
There'll be a lot of paperwork
that
for
I
that.
haven't done.
A nuclear threat is not to be taken lightly.
No.
Even for someone with very little nuclear capability.
I have almost zero. Like I can almost zero.
Almost zero.
Well, you can never be.
You've got a
Never be
microwave
zero.
at home, haven't you?
Got a microwave, yeah.
There's always a chance.
You could chuck a microwave at Cuba and see if it works. works.
I didn't say that we were going to attack Cuba.
Well, no, we were talking about nuclear submarines.
Oh,
You
yes,
talked about
yes,
plugging
yes,
in the
yes,
nuclear because you didn't realise that a nuclear submarine is also powered.
No,
by
I was making a comment.
It was a satire,
It's a satire
wasn't
of
it?
the Cold War.
It was a
the
very
Cuban
clever-
Missile Crisis.
Yes, it was a very clever satire.
Yeah, what's
on
this
the
guy's
Cold
name?
War. Craig, of course.
Craig, what are you doing, Craig? Come on.
Well, he's doing it because he says, I'll obviously follow the important broadcast teachings, but I do have relatives there and I would like to give them the heads up. No, the element of surprise
it's key to a nuclear war.
and that's why we only do it on a podcast.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it on the main show.
Imagine if this is actually how we do launch nuclear warheads. It's like there isn't a red button.
Yeah.
It's like I give the signal on the important broadcast podcast, and then Boris says, "All right, okay, he's given the signal. It's time to go."
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got a podcast these days, so presumably whoever's in charge of Britain's nuclear football would also have their own podcast where they talk about nuclear stuff.
How long would it be until we get an MP podcast? Why doesn't Boris have one now?
An MP? I'm sure there are MP podcasts.
Ooh, I don't know.
I
don't think you're allowed. You're
I
not
imagine Lembit Opik. If he's still an MP, I imagine
They're allowed to be guests. I don't think they're allowed their own podcast.
Is that right?
It's not. Doesn't.
Just imagine.
What about
it.
David Lammy? And they turn his into a podcast on LBC.
Oh, maybe I'm talking absolute.
I don't know.
nonsense there.
I don't know.
I don't think there's any reason why you can't. I think it's probably just better if you don't.
I mean, Nigel Farage was always
Why
on
are we
the
talking
radio,
about
but,
MPs getting podcasts?
He was never an
I
MP.
think it would be
of course.
interesting.
You could call it an M podcast.
Exactly.
I think what has probably happened in terms of people missing your satirical war joke
Yes.
is they're so used to hearing you tell anecdotes about, like, you know, thinking you saw yourself in a park and making up sons that you don't have.
They forget.
When you do a bit of war satire,
Yeah.
when you
political
wade
satire,
into geopolitical matters.
people probably don't see that coming.
It's my fault. It's my fault because obviously, like,
It's your fault.
when I'm in the character of Steve Ferdinando for
the
the
oath.
show.
You get into your oath
Like,
costume.
obviously, because this is all unscripted.
Yes.
Sometimes, like, the veil slips, and I let the real Stephen Ferdinando,
Yeah.
Stephen, yes.
very well educated, successful social media editor.
And when's he coming?
He's not part of this.
Oh, no.
That's him back in my real life.
Have you met him?
Once or twice.
I don't recognise him from the description.
we sort of workshop it. It ends up sort of scripted. By the time we reach the microphones, we sort of know which way it's going to go because we've done so much workshopping and
Yeah, we've done the
improvisation
workshopping, which we also have to do on Zoom at the moment, all
Yeah.
the workshopping,
It's
and
a
that's
real
3
pig.
or 4 hours.
Remember after the first season of this show,
Yeah.
we had to workshop the Steve Ferdinando character because it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And we
People
refined it a
weren't
bit.
identifying.
Yeah.
I just didn't identify with
Yeah.
him.
But we refined it a bit and like we made it a bit more human.
Yeah, and we
Yeah.
eventually we returned to you
Yeah.
because we tried various different actors in the role.
Yeah.
Sean Bean, I remember.
Yeah, Sean Bean.
Ralph Little gave it a good go.
He did a good read,
Yeah.
but
Craig Fairbrass was my favourite.
just didn't have the right voice.
Who else did we?
We did Kate Lawler did
Kate
a read.
Lawler tried it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did a good read as well.
She did a good read.
But
We
It's-
did look at getting comedians into because obviously comedians, you know, often act in roles as well. So we tried that. We tried Lee Evans in the role, but it just
Totally.
Yeah.
He came across as too bright.
it was too.
we tried a few unknowns as well, didn't we?
Yes.
As
We
like
tried-
a breakthrough role.
We tried Phil from Reception.
Yeah.
We
but-
tried Timothy Tickets of Tickety Boo,
Yeah.
the ticket seller in Leicester Square.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's relocated
He
now,
couldn't
of
get
course.
Sundays off.
Yeah, he was on the south side, he was on the north side.
Yeah, on the north side now. But ultimately, yeah, we decided on this.
Yeah,
Um,
because the contract was with you.
yeah.
It's just too complicated.
It was too complicated. So, and then I obviously would own the rights to the name and brand Steve Ferdinando.
Well, Global
yeah.
own the name Steve Ferdinando. So if ever you left Global, Steve Ferdinando would remain property of Global, but
Well, this
only
is
a
it.
name.
Only
And then
name, yeah.
you would have to create a new name.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
but
like,
we can quite easily, from that point of view, we can quite easily recast.
yeah.
It means
So-
that we can
oh,
just-
absolutely. Yeah.
We've still got the Stephen Ferdinando brand.
Yeah. So you could put anyone as Steve Ferdinando on
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
Like that's absolutely fine.
Yes.
I think that's probably actually true.
I would suggest rotating guest hosts, however, always under the name Stephen Ferdinando.
Yeah.
So you might get Joe Brandon,
Yeah.
Alexander Armstrong,
Yeah.
Tom Allen.
Tom Allen, any of the ones.
Yeah.
But the deal is they're Stephen Ferdinando.
And actually, if you're really into it, check out some of the foreign language versions of the show because
I do.
the Mexican Steve Ferdinando specifically, he's actually really good.
Yeah,
He's got a very
good, yeah.
bubbly tone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's taken the role and he sort of he pays he pays respect to where the role came from, but he's very much made it his own.
He's done his own thing, and he's very bright, and they call him El Profesor.
Yes.
And
I don't know where that came from.
Do check out El Broadcast Importante with El Profesor Ferdinando.
Ferdinando.
That's one of the more successful ones. The German one.
German one's not as good, is it?
I don't think it's going to run for much
He's
longer.
very stern.
Yeah.
And they say the German one is not as good, but the American one, the first couple of seasons aren't it's just trying to do this again. But once they've got on to do their own thing, it comes into its own life, and it's like it's a whole different show.
They get their own writers on and really expand the universe as well. But the German one, Stefan. Oh my God!
I think, to be absolutely honest with you, the role in the German one that's more problematic is yours, because
it's more Führer-like.
Shouting in German, like the pronouncements and all of that. It sounds a little bit sort of echoes of the past, and it's not ideal.
That's why it's not done very well over there.
It's all good for us because we just commission the name. We don't really have anything to do with them.
No, we're hands off, but we get the exec producer credit.
We get the credit
incredible amounts of cash,
a little bit of royalty,
massive amounts of money.
Yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, it's all good for us.
Radio X. Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Jake Bugg, Lightning Bolt. Here on Radio X, of course, known chiefly as the home of Dinner Winner. The radio marquee feature.
Yeah.
Swept the land.
Yeah.
I noticed we bested another enemy this week, didn't we? Another old foe.
He took us on, didn't he?
Sean Keaveney took us on, didn't he? And he tried to launch something called Dinner Winner. Didn't go well for him. Had to rename it Danny Wallace's Dinner Winner, which he did. He was happy to after the legal letters. And obviously, you don't talk about other broadcasters because I don't recognise other broadcasters.
No.
But he was forced to resign, I believe. No, obviously not. He decided to. That did actually sound like a legal
back on the game.
That got quite legal in the end, didn't it?
No, he's a friend of mine. It's absolutely fine. So, shall we do it? Shall we go from Monday to Friday?
Yeah.
And shall we compare and contrast our dinners? Mm-hmm. And shall we dedicate it to Sean Keaveney?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do that.
That'd be nice.
Let's begin with Monday. 2 cod and chips, please, I said cheerily to the lady behind the counter. You mean cod and chips twice? She spat at me. Well, that's exactly what I mean, I replied, and she turned to her worker. Could I get 2 cod, please? You mean cod twice, I said. Haha, I have 1. Oh, you'll get your cod, darling, don't worry, she said, seemingly not understanding that I'd bested her in her own place of work and that I'm the victor. Now she's going to spit on my cod, isn't she? Well, thankfully the cod is for the children. I'm having battered sausage with machine-cut chips, curry sauce and mushy peas. Steve.
On Monday...
Can I point out that when I said Sean, I meant because of the Dinner Winner.
Yeah, I know.
Obviously. That's obviously what I meant.
I think we've probably said enough.
And he's a friend.
He's a friend. He's an old friend.
He didn't make fun of me on the radio.
Listen, on Monday, I went for drinks and food with my friend because nothing says I'm going to have a wholesome week more than boozing on a Monday. So now that Soho has been pedestrianised, it's like some kind of endless party there. So my friend and I, we went for pizza at the iconic Soho Joe's. Oh. How have they managed to keep their pizzas to just £10 for over 10 years? I will never know. This isn't an endorsement, by the way.
Sounds like one.
I just love Soho Joe's. Pizza, I had actually a chorizo pizza. I'm often a fan of the margherita.
Chorizo?
But I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for a little bit of meat. It's not an Italian joint, so you can mix it up a little bit there, and it was delicious.
Wow, okay. So, a chorizo?
Chorizo? I said chorizo.
No, but it was a chorizo pizza, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was being clever.
A chorizo.
or a spitty fish and chips. Chorizo, please.
Whoa!
It's 1-0 to Steve.
Come on. Will I get the hat trick this week?
And I just want to apologise to Sean Keaveney for I was thinking on my feet, and yes, we've been rivals, and we it's but it's the rough and tumble of the game.
I think it's fine. I don't think you'll
now.
mind. I think it's fine.
I should stop mentioning it, but
yeah.
I just want to say.
What did you have for dinner on Tuesday?
I had many cheery interactions with local people this week, civilians with their minds on regional matters, and enjoyed plenty of street humour. You were only sent out for a bottle of water, laughed one lady in the queue as I bought some wine. Oh, don't tell the wife, I replied.
That's good small talk.
And then, I know your game, I said to the old man leaning near the cash machine. You're after my secret number. He didn't reply, but it was a really lovely stuff, and it was fairly pedestrian, so I guess it was fitting that after a day like that, I had a bog-standard spaghetti bolognese with a little garlic bread to one side. Nothing fancy, just good, honest grub.
Sounds very regional. My friend very kindly offered to show me around South East London on Tuesday as a potential place to live once I'm finally banned from the Sky Pool. You know, Peckham, Dulwich, Nunhead. It's the home of the London Metropolitan Elite, and it's where I'm destined to go. But by the time I was cycling home at about 9 o'clock, I hadn't had time for dinner. So I ate the only thing that was in the cupboard. You want to guess what that was?
Chickpeas.
Yeah, it did a chickpeas. Packet of crisps.
Oh, lovely.
A nice salt and vinegar McCoy.
Oh, yeah.
It was I would say a good sized bag.
We don't need that description. That's
very salty.
All irrelevant. It's 1-1. Danny takes points for Tuesday.
Lovely. Just a quick clarification with the Sean Keagley thing. You know,
Yeah.
You say things in live radio, don't you? And he knows that better than anyone because
Yeah.
he's an old pro.
Yeah.
He would understand.
I think at this stage you're probably making it worse.
Off to the butcher's I go. But what's this? An empty display at 4 p.m? Have I missed it? I cheerily ask. Missed what? The meat. Am I too late?
Have I missed the meat?
The tattooed man stands over me.
So regional.
No, you ain't missed it, mate. You ain't missed it. You ain't missed nothing. Okay, I say. 2 fillet steaks, please. He ain't missed it, says the man to his associate. He says, have I missed it? I ate the steaks with boiled new potatoes, glancing out the window just in case the bad man followed me home.
One thing the pandemic has done has make it harder to see friends and family.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah.
Reflecting the times.
And a lot of people have a lot of complaints about the pandemic, and one of mine is that you can't see your friends and family. So on Wednesday, I decided to see a friend, my colleague Jenny, and we went for dinner. But what did we have? I had a nice beef burger with hot fries, and I paid an extra £1 for bacon.
Oh.
Right. So, yeah, I'm 30 now. I'm living my best life.
Yeah,
Got
wow.
a bit of cash.
Battle of the beef then, isn't it?
It is.
Nice hot beef burger, mate.
Do you know what? It doesn't even come down to the beef because steaks are lovely and so are burgers.
You know what, though? I will say I ate the beef burger with a knife and fork
Oh.
because it was too big.
Was it with chips, did you say?
Yeah, nice
Yeah.
hot fries.
On the basis you had new potatoes, you had chips, it's hands down. It's
Get
Steve's
in.
point,
Come
I'm
on.
afraid. Here we go.
Thursday.
Well, I intended to fire up the wood-smoking grill this evening, but there was talk of thunderstorms, so the barbecue was moved indoors to the built-in grill my oven enjoys.
Oh, I thought you meant you took a barbecue inside. That's really silly. You shouldn't do that.
Oak-smoked lamb kebabs with a creamy lemon and mint yogurt dressing and a coriander roast garlic and lemon drizzle, served with a side salad and toasted pita breads. Anyway, it didn't rain until about 1 a.m, so I could have done the barbecue, but it doesn't matter. These things happen.
They happen.
And remember, these things happen.
They do. They do.
These things happen.
My Sky Pool awaited me on Thursday. I don't know why.
Sky pool.
I don't understand why everyone doesn't have a Sky Pool. It's great. The restaurant that accompanies the Sky Pool is called the Orangery. It's very bougie, and I've been excited to eat there. I naturally ordered the chicken thigh with a kind of Caesar salad on the side. It cost me £15, and as I ate it, I realised they were using the exact same all-purpose seasoning that I use on my own chicken in a flat maybe 20 metres away.
Oh, that's strange.
What is the point of paying to eat the same food upstairs that I get in my flat?
I don't know. Maybe take it up with someone else.
Just like, it was very nice. But it's just like
This isn't the forum.
I'll take it up with Ballymore, I guess.
It is, on the basis of your lovely barbecue, it is now 2-2 as we go into Friday.
yeah, that means-
I can confirm there will be
There
a winner.
will be a
Yeah.
winner.
Friday.
Well, when I'm not being jalfrazy crazy, I'm a total what?
Lunatic.
Lunatic, you're right. And there's only one game in town. Most people shy away from the chef's special, because the chef's special always seems like something not quite good enough to make it to the actual menu. But this is a Friday night curry, and I'm feeling brave, so a tandoori masala bhuna it is.
Ooh.
The chef says it's special, and it's cooked with fresh spices, green peppers, and plenty of onions. It's char-grilled, melt-in-the-mouth stuff with a gently spiced coconut and perhaps almond base. And after years of buying and paying for 4 poppadoms, I discovered that if you ordered 2, they'll give you 4 anyway.
Ooh.
This was curry with a life lesson, saving you money, and I am the Martin Lewis of poppadoms.
He always has a curry. I'm just saying, he always has that.
It's a Friday night. That's why they call it a Friday night.
He can't win every time with that.
What did you have for dinner, Stephen?
I decided to watch the England-Scotland game because it was a cultural moment. It was incredibly boring. I will never ever watch football ever again. I'm done with that. But it was saved because my friend Ben was making tacos, 3 different types: a chicken and pineapple one, a pulled pork one, and a beef one, with homemade guacamole and homemade salsa,
tough
and
choice.
loads of nice cold beers.
No. Be
Come on.
sensible. That's a Mavericks Friday.
That's
Mine
a
is-
good curry shared taco shared with
curry,
friends.
that's interesting. Yeah,
He has that all the time, Joe.
would have liked a curry. You can tell.
He has the same one all the time.
I've already written on the score sheet,
That's
so you can
special.
stop. The winner with the tacos, it's Steve.
What? No, come on.
3 weeks in a row, baby.
That's unbelievable performance from the young
you very
Billericay
much.
guy there. Well done to you, Steve.
Thank you very much.
You've triumphed again. I'll be renaming the feature Danny Wallace's Sean Keaveney's dinner winner. And once again, Sean, we go back a long way, and it's all good. And these things happen. It was a mistake, and you can have dinner winner.
I think you're fine.
You can have dinner winner.
Yeah, you now.
Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Legally, where do I stand?
I think you're fine.
It was. I don't make gaffes. I am infallible. Everything I do is for a reason. But I do worry that some people might have taken that the wrong way.
What, you saying that Sean Keaveney had to resign?
Well, yeah, but because of dinner winner and the controversy.
Legally, for a split second,
Yeah.
it could have been a bit slanderous.
Could have
been a little
couldn't
bit
it?
libel.
But I think you
I had
fixed
to-
it so quickly that the lawyers didn't even have time to pick up their pens.
I was just trying to get through the dinner so I could ad-lib a little something
I get it.
to put Sean at ease.
At ease, yeah.
I get it, and I imagine Sean Keaveney gets it.
Sometimes he presses a button and plays my name out instead of his.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and he's renamed his featured dinner winner to Danny Wallace's dinner winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think there's a little bit of
So is
back and
ours,
forth.
is ours now called Sean Keaveney's Danny Wallace's dinner winner?
It's Danny Wallace's Sean Keaveney's Danny Wallace's dinner winner. I think.
It's quite.
I, of course, worked with Sean before I worked with you.
I don't like to hear about that.
And interestingly,
those days.
he put me in touch.
I don't want to hear about your exes.
He put me in touch with the guy that ran this place,
Yeah.
and they put me onto your show. So really, you have to thank Sean for this.
You know what? I'm going to start calling you Sean Keaveney, Steve Ferdinand.
Radio X. Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
2020's dinner winner ultimate champion is just tearing through the weeks this month, Steve. My gosh.
Oh man, I'm eating well.
How do you do it? Particularly when you can get, you just had a bag of crisps one night.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the game.
I suppose so. And I had an aggressive butcher and
The thing about-
a passive-aggressive fish and chips person.
Because you're a father and you live a regional life.
Sure. in a hamlet.
Often what that means is that you end up having a lot of the same things, right?
Everything I had was different. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Well, but I mean like week on week.
You had crisps.
Yeah, how did you win with Chris?
How did he win with crisps, Joe?
No, don't look at me because you say that he's on the back of 3 wins. I didn't judge all of them. You've judged him a winner as well. So
Don't bicker over me winning.
Come at me.
I'm fair and square, and I'm doing well, and I'm going to win next week as well when I play him.
This is really big. We should be doing WWF style SmackDown chat,
Yeah.
where we really pump the audience up.
Well, why don't we make it interesting?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't if I beat you next week, you've got to take me out for dinner.
Oh, and
Where is it? Doosra. We'll go there,
and what if you lose?
and then I'll take you out for dinner.
That's gambling, and you must gamble responsibly, of course. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think this is irresponsible gambling.
No, I think it's just like a friendly thing between friends.
Yeah,
surely.
I suppose. Yes.
Yeah.
Hang on.
All right.
What do I get in return? Do you? That's
So,
the same
so
thing.
it's really
if I win.
simple. If you beat me, then I will buy you dinner,
Yeah.
and if I beat you,
Yeah.
you have to buy me dinner.
Okay.
You see,
It's not that confusing, Joe.
it's one of the first types of gambling.
You're not allowed to do that. One of those things where you order like, oh, I'll have the lobster and the champagne.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Like, no, you're not allowed to do that.
Oh, you're definitely
That's
allowed to
not
do that.
fair. That's not in the
But
rules.
So are you.
I'm not playing if we're doing that.
Why do you already think you're going to lose?
Because
You got me on your
I
side.
am, by my very nature, as soon as anything gets competitive,
Yeah.
I go to absolute pieces.
You do, don't you?
Absolute pieces. I can't do it.
Joe, are we on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
It's going to be good, and already I can tell you, Joe, you're going to win. I'm judging next week, and I'd like to wipe that smile off Steve's face.
Danny Wallace.
Radio X.
Joe, you've summoned us to the microphone, nodded at us, and put the red light on. What gives?
I got a confession to make.
Oh.
What have you done?
How long have I known you?
Oof.
Nearly 4 years.
Yeah.
Nearly 4 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
several.
I should have told you this a long time ago, and it's weighing heavy, and I feel like I got
Have we been pronouncing your name wrong again?
That's worse than that. I've never watched Ghostbusters. And you made a Ghostbusters reference, and I went along with it. And I know who Sigourney Weaver is,
Oh, man.
but
Never watched
I know that
Ghostbusters.
the film means a lot to you. I know when we speak to you on Zoom when you're at home, you've got a Ghostbusters poster behind you. I know that
It's a preview poster, special edition.
It makes
I
it sound
know.
like he's a child.
It makes me sound like I'm a child. It's a framed original
I know.
preview poster
I know.
saying
got-
coming 1984.
No, I know that culturally it's a real touchstone for you. I know it's really important.
It's big.
I get it, and I am going
I
to watch
worked with
it.
Ivan Reitman.
I know.
I got to sit in an office for a while in Los Angeles working for Ghost Corps with
know.
Ecto One outside.
I know.
Went on Mastermind.
I got
with
to
it.
sit in Dan Aykroyd's office.
I know, and it's for all of these reasons that I know I should have told you a long time ago, and I probably wouldn't have got the job.
Why can't I trust you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't trust myself because when you said it on air in front of, obviously the listeners we're in front of now, they're our trusted friends.
chuckled
But
along,
when,
didn't you?
When you said it on the radio, I was too embarrassed.
You lied.
In front of the people that we don't really know to...
We do know them. In fact, I think I know them better than I know you.
No, you know the people who just tune in and tune out, not the dedicated.
No.
Sometimes
listeners.
you make such obscure Ghostbusters references that they are hard to pick up on. But because I'm loyal,
Yeah.
I watch Ghostbusters probably once a week.
Have
maybe
you
once a
actually?
fortnight.
Have you actually watched
Yeah, I've
it?
seen it. Of course, everyone's seen Ghostbusters.
Everyone's seen Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
My wife has only ever seen. My wife, she's only ever seen the bit in Ghostbusters. Oh, why am I even telling you? You
Your
don't know
wife
this.
hasn't seen it either.
No, but I'd already married her before I found that out.
Oh.
And,
Well, it's
You must have
sort
been
of-
kicking yourself on the wedding night.
I was kicking myself.
It is sort of similar in the sense that we've been doing this show for 4 years now. It's sort of a bit late.
I suppose it is like a marriage, what we've got.
yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Loveless.
We're in it, and we don't know necessarily. We hope it lasts forever, but
But it probably won't.
maybe it won't. A lot of radio programs
Shush
don't
your lips
last
up. Shush your
forever.
lips up. You haven't seen Ghostbusters, and I can't trust you.
Sorry, the bit that she's seen. But
She's
I won't
only
know.
seen a bit where, and she's seen it countless times. Because she happens to walk in when it's on a repeat or whatever, and it's the bit where they are in a hotel hallway and they accidentally shoot their lasers
Right.
at a cleaner and set some toilet paper on fire.
Right.
And she goes, "What the hell are you doing?" Like that. And that's what she thinks Ghostbusters is.
That's the whole film.
That's it. Although, interestingly, of course, the that wasn't supposed to happen in the actual film.
Oh, really?
And the toilet roll, it caught fire because the explosion was too big, and her reaction was quite normal. And then she ad-libbed that line. So it's
Really?
sort of
Oh, wow.
interesting. What are you wowing?
Oh, well,
you haven't even seen it.
I'll look forward to seeing that
How-
bit because
how
obviously
often-
now I'm going in armed with
Yeah.
knowledge.
Yeah.
How often do you watch it?
How often do I watch it? What, by breakfast? Or do you mean in a day?
I mean, like over a year.
Yeah.
How many times do you think you watch Ghostbusters?
Probably one.
One time a year. That's quite
Yeah.
high.
Near Christmas.
It could be any time.
Really, any time.
Anytime.
You don't have. So it's not like built into like a tradition or something. You just.
Why
like,
would I have a Ghostbusters tradition?
Because you're obsessed with Ghostbusters.
Well, I just think it's the greatest film ever made.
Yeah, no, I know.
it is a great film.
It's the greatest film ever made. You're right.
I do like Bill Murray.
Which
He's
one
in
do you
it.
like the most?
He is in it. Of course, he's in it. It was a seminal comedic role
No, I
for the former Caddyshack.
I was
Remember
being
Dan Aykroyd
churlish.
came in?
Yes, of course, I remember when Dan Aykroyd came in. It was a childhood dream.
He was funny.
Do you remember when Dan Aykroyd came in? Actually, he wasn't very funny. He was obsessed with UFOs, and we
Wasn't
had
he
lots of
flogging
complaints.
like
A vodka on breakfast radio.
Yeah,
yes,
that was it. In the shape of a skull.
Yeah, it made it awkward. Of course, he designed and brewed that at his cabin-side home at Lake Loughborough in Canada.
I remember
Really?
he was. I had to go get him. He was outside, and Dave, who was doing producing the show then.
My former wife.
Oh, what a good producer he was, wasn't he?
Lovely.
I love Dave. Everyone loves Dave.
Yeah.
No one in radio doesn't like Dave.
Well, that's true.
He was like, Dan Aykroyd's out on the street with his manager, and they can't find the entrance. Can you go and get him? So I was like, okay. And so I walked out the building, and I remember walking up to him like at a pace because obviously we had like a few songs.
Yeah.
And I remember his face. He was like, oh God, there's a nutter about to come up, like a Ghostbusters nutter. And I was like, the Ghostbusters nutter's upstairs, mate.
He's waiting for you in Studio X. Well, you should have thanked him for even talking to you.
No, I mean, I was grateful to meet him.
Watch Ghostbusters.
I'm going to.
Watch
I
Ghostbusters.
will.
Danny Wallace.
This is radio.
Another important broadcast draws to a close, but don't worry. Please don't worry. We're going to record a load of extra stuff for our British Podcast Award nominated podcast a bit later on. I have just discovered that Joe has never seen Ghostbusters, which does concern me.
Yeah, that's one of the little extra bits that you can hear. It's an apology.
Well, it should be
It's
an
an apology that I'm making to you.
Yes, you should, because trust is so important, and I thought I knew you, and it turns out I know nothing about you.
Well, look, I'll go home today, and I'm not saying I'll watch it today.
Why?
Why you watch it tonight?
It's Sunday.
I've got the podcast to make.
Sure, but that takes you 5 minutes, and then you can watch Ghostbusters a couple
takes him-
times.
I'd like to watch football if I can.
Sure.
What football?
Italy against Wales, I'll watch that.
Italy against Wales. On that note, Polly James is up next. She was supposed to be playing for Wales today, but she decided instead she would come here and do the show.
Very loyal.
Yeah.
Very loyal to you, the listener, and of course to the mighty Radio X. So that podcast will be with you in just a couple of hours' time, and we will be back same time next week. Should we all meet here?
Yeah, right here. Let's just do it back
Should we meet
here.
here?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Yeah.
Joe?
Steve, if you could not be late next week when we meet here.
I wasn't late. I wasn't late today.
You were late. Your turn-up time is later and later every single week. Me and Joe were outside the Brewmaster at 9:15.
I want to get to a point where I'm arriving like 5 minutes before the show.
No.
And just
No.
come
No.
and I'll meet you in the studio is what I dreamed to text you one day.
Your preparation suffered today. There, I said it.
You did say it, and I think it came across.
Wow, that's me told.
Isn't it just? Well, you'll do better next week, Steve. Please don't worry.
I wouldn't nail that on.
And we will leave you with this. It's Oasis, cigarettes and alcohol, which I suppose, if you've forgotten it's Father's Day and you are tearing it around, stopping at an Esso, is probably the only gifts you're going to be able to get them. But don't do that, obviously, for moral reasons. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Radio X.
Danny Wallace.
The important broadcast.
Well, there you go. That was another important podcast from the Digital Dudes.
Digital Dude. What a roller coaster of a show.
Real roller coaster, wasn't it? It was like ups and downs, which is like a roller coaster. I've just worked that out.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
Oh.
Your
Audio Amigos. That one's all right, isn't it?
Audio Amigos is very
that
good.
okay?
Well, that's good for the Mexican version.
Yeah.
El Amigos Audio.
He'd already used audio.
Had you
though,
done
so-
audio already?
I've done.
You said audio buddies.
Okay,
so-
keep talking. Don't finish
Okay.
until I want to do another
We'll
one.
come
So
back
you
with you in
just
a
keep
minute.
talking.
Okay. But you
Yeah,
know,
lots of ups and downs, wasn't it? Emotional. I would say heart rate.
look at him thinking.
But he's using his fingers, like counting on his fingers, as if that's
Going
gonna
through the
help
alphabet.
you. This is gripping radio.
You know, when you think about podcast drop-off, this is often the
This
time.
is often the time the drop off happens,
Yeah.
isn't it?
But
There'll be people now. We'll be losing them by the dozen right now. There's all sorts of people.
I got one.
But some of them are sticking around.
Yeah.
Now, why
I wanna
is
hear
it important to stick around and not be part of the drop off or the decline
That's it,
in
yeah.
audience? It's because of moments like this.
this.
Moments that the other people will miss. Moments that make the entire thing worthwhile. Moments of genius,
Yeah.
moments of magic, moments of wordplay that all lead to this.
Your weekly wingmen.
It's not worth it, is it?
Wasn't worth it.
Not
no.
worth it.
Sorry, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Radio X.